Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Beth and today I'm going to be talking about things that I didn't buy but I very much wanted to at one point and now why I'm glad that I didn't. Just to preface before I begin talking about this list of things, the reason why I want to talk about this is because I do think that it is a skill to be able to think critically about the things that we consume and how influenced we are by others, especially online, to buy a product. I think it's really important that people, especially of the younger generations, are more aware of different tactics or just different ways that things are pushed onto us and how we are quite vulnerable to marketing and whether that's quite direct or indirect. Yeah, generally just with this channel I want to make people a little bit more aware of the things that are happening behind the scenes and just, yeah, how we're taking advantage of most of the time. Anyway, aside from that, I wanted to make this video quite relaxed because people really liked from my last video that it was like less edited and more just chatty. And it's night time, I think it's like midnight and my partner's asleep and I've got nothing to do. I've just got a hot water bottle, I've got a peppermint tea, so it's just a chat between friends at this point. Oh, that's hot. So yeah, let's get into the list. Let's see. Okay, the first thing that I've got on here are the Our Place cookware. It is so likely that you've seen this somewhere online. They're these beautiful like pans and pots and pans. They're in like different like pastel colours and they're supposed to be non-stick and have all these great attributes. I desperately wanted these at one point because they're just so pretty and they just make like the act of cooking look so aesthetic and pleasing. I did actually end up ordering one of their like sheet pans once. I think it was like £90 and then also 30 for like the lining inside. Around those prices, I might be a little bit off. And I ended up actually returning them because number one, I was just not at a place in my life, and I'm still not, to be able to afford such expensive aesthetic versions of things that already exist that I already have. Like sheet pans, they can be like £2. I don't need to spend 100 basically on this beautiful pink one because it's not making a difference in my life, and you can only make those decisions or make those choices, sorry, when you do have a lot of extra income that you can be spending on like trivial stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. And then also I've seen loads of reviews, especially with like the frying pans and stuff, that the non-stick like goes after like a few months. So that's not great because the whole reason why you want it is that it's this great non-stick pan, but apparently not. So if you are thinking of buying those, I'd definitely do a good amount of research into it because it doesn't seem that they're maybe as functional as they are pretty. The next one I've got is the Marvis toothpaste. I don't know if you would have seen this, but I saw it loads on like Pinterest and TikTok. That is basically it's just toothpaste, but it's like £9, which is crazy. I feel like I look really insanely pale right now. It's because I've got a light right behind the camera and I'm like very much washed out. Maybe if I take those off. Nope, that's worse. Yeah, the Marvis toothpaste. I almost bought it because sometimes having like little aesthetic versions of, you know, everyday things can just make your space nicer and it feels like you're romanticizing like everyday life. But then it's like, oh wait, realistically, I'm only thinking that because it's being pushed onto me by influencers and through marketing, and that's why I'm seeing loads of pictures of it, and it's actually gonna make zero difference to my life. And I can spend £1 on a toothpaste that works just as well. Like, sure, the packaging's pretty, but that's it. It's just such a waste of money. And again, like if I had loads of money, sure, maybe I would be considering buying it, but I don't know. I think it's just insane that like influencers and these companies profit off of everyday people who have way less money than them to spend their little money on very trivial things, and it's just sad. Anyway, next I've got cheap trendy clothes from online retailers, and then I've put that it's most often too good to be true. The amount of times that I've looked at websites, like especially when I'm feeling quite insecure and I'm like, oh, I need new clothes, I need to like rebrand myself, I need to feel super pretty, and then I go online and I find websites like Cider and other similar websites that have all these, they're very on trend and they have thousands of products, but they're quite cheap, which usually with something like that, there's a reason why it's quite cheap. What are you ripping? It's either not going to be, well, it's just never good quality. It's going to, even if it does seem like it at first, it's going to fall apart in like a couple months. So any item of clothing that I bought from places like, sorry, I don't know if she's being too loud. Hello. Can you stop, please? Anytime I bought from places like Monkey or H&M or Bershka or Pull&Bear and those sort of places, I always just end up, like the clothes never quite fit right, or they're just quite stiff and they break easily and they're thin. So it's just most of the time it's just, there's no point, even though yeah, sure you can buy a lot more clothes for cheaper. It's just, it's better in my opinion to get one or two very nice pieces of clothing, even if they are a little bit more expensive, because you are going to get more wear out of them and more years out of them. Yeah. And then I've got Diptyque / Byredo perfume, or just generally, it was those two specifically for me, but just generally like expensive perfume. Personally, this is crazy and I'm so glad I did not spend £200 plus on them, because I don't have a sense of smell. Just let that sink in. I can't even smell them, and I was gonna spend £200 just on the bottle because it was pretty and it was aesthetic, and because, you know, the people who had them online looked really put together, so if I buy it, I must be super put together then. No. And I'm so glad. Oh. I'm just gonna go and stop her because it's gonna be really annoying through the whole video if not. She's gonna hate me. Sorry. Yeah, I did buy some like cheaper perfumes, and then even now, months later, like these tiny perfumes I've still not got through, and my obsession with perfume and with like smelling amazing and being that girl, it just disappeared very quickly, and I've not used much of them at all. So now looking back, if I bought like a £200 perfume, I would have massively regretted that and been able to spend that money on other stuff that I would much preferred, or being able to save that money. Yeah, crazy. Oh, and then I've got Repetto ballet flats. There was like a whole trend, I don't know if it's still a thing, these like really pretty like ballet flats with a little heel, and they were like red ones, and I saw like Leve, I think that's how you say her name, wearing them, and oh my god, I wanted them so bad. And I ended up actually buying like a very cheap version of them off like Debenhams or something. They were very cheap and they were so uncomfortable. But after buying those, I ended up reselling those. But after buying those, like, I realised, number one, these shoes are not comfortable. And I'm sure the expensive ones would have been a bit more comfortable, but in my experience, any like ballet flats, anything like that is just not the comfiest shoe, and they're quite like, I don't know, they're just annoying to wear in my opinion. But also I live in a rainy city. I live in the UK, I live in Manchester. It's not good weather here, so the likelihood of me being able to wear like ballet flats often was so low. You know, we get months and months of rain, so I'd be spending God knows how much money on a pair of shoes that I wouldn't be able to wear very often at all. So yeah, glad I didn't go for those. Don't get me wrong, they're so cute, and maybe in like different climates or just people who have more money, they're sweet and I do like them, but that's just a reason why I'm glad I didn't buy them. Oh, another one, okay. Getting my hair dyed blonde. I'm glad I didn't spend my money on dyeing my hair. There's nothing wrong with dyeing your hair. I don't think that's like overconsumption necessarily, but I'm glad I didn't, because the upkeep of dyeing your hair blonde, especially from this colour, is like you have to be getting it dyed like every 4 weeks, which don't have the money for it, don't have the time or the energy for that, and it's just so hard to maintain. And it's just realistically the reason why I want to keep changing myself. It's just because of insecurity. I don't need to. I mean, like, natural hair suits people because that's, you know, that's their hair colour, that's how they look. Yeah. So thank God I didn't fry my hair doing that. And then the last one, which is kind of funny to me, is expensive aesthetic tinned fish. Again, don't know if you would have seen this this trend. It was really big for a while, but they were so expensive. And I understand, like, if it's wild caught fish or if it's, you know, much better quality, it being more expensive, that makes sense. But a lot of these tins were just like the same sort of fish you'd get in another tin, but just with very aesthetic packaging. So the difference essentially there is just the look of it. Which, again, somebody who doesn't have that much money and is trying to save money, why would I waste my money on just like a pretty tin that's going to be in the bin right after I use my tuna for a salad? It's just, yeah. I also don't really like anchovies and like all the tin fish like that. Like, I don't like them, and I was honestly going to spend so much money on getting these tins because I thought, like, that'll make me look cool. It wouldn't have, and I'm glad I didn't fall into that trap. Again, most of these things, if I had the money, sure, I'd do it, but I think these trends and these just items are pushed despite the fact that most everyday people cannot afford them, and it is out of our budget, and it's kind of silly. So yeah, those are a few things. I realised I didn't drink my tea at all throughout the video. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I've wanted to buy. I'm quite impulsive with money. Not amazing, and I'm still working on that. I bought stuff recently that I saw because of TikTok. Yeah, definitely something I'm working on, but I think it's just important for individuals to reflect on maybe their past history of spending as well when they're making purchases, because say for a lot of these things, like with the cheap clothes or like with certain shoes, whatever, I knew historically, looking at my behaviour, like I wouldn't use those things often and I wouldn't benefit from it, so it was smarter to not waste my money on them. Yeah, I think just being more intentional and thoughtful with those sort of decisions will go a long way for a lot of people. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope my like very white face wasn't too jarring or annoying to watch, and I hope you enjoyed the more like chatty sort of vibe of this. But yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know if there's anything else that you would like to see soon. Somebody's throwing stuff around, so that's nice. But yeah, thanks for all the support, and especially for all the views I got on the last video. That was very nice and made me very happy. So yeah, thank you, bye.